Okay, we're going to get started. Thanks for coming out. Joe's here. Thanks, Joe, for your presentation. I heard it went very well, and we were streaming it back at the office. You look great on camera, Joe. Good. We've got an action-packed agenda, so we're not going to stand up here too long, but I do have to leave a couple minutes early because I have a conference call that I have to attend, so I normally hold my quotes till afterwards, but I'm going to give it to you now. Okay, and there's actually two because we're going through a lot of opportunities. We talk about the journey that we're on. So again, a continuation of the journey. This is our third meeting, and we're getting there. The technology allows us now that we can sit in our offices and watch this, although we do like when you're here. So the first quote is a Stephen Covey quote, and there are three constants in life: change, choice, and principles. So just think about that. We're going through change. And we do have some choices, and I hope everyone keeps their principles. And the second one is from Scott Peck. The truth is that our finest moments are most likely to occur when we're feeling deeply uncomfortable, unhappy, or unfulfilled. For it is only in such moments, propelled by our discomfort, that we are likely to step out of our ruts and start searching for different ways or truer answers. So think about that as you listen to some of these presentations, because this is part of the change that we're going through. So anything that we can go and do. And Ellen's always looking for more topics for the next meeting. So if you have any topics that you like to discuss, please make sure that we're aware of that. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ellen.
And I know everyone is much, much more anxious to hear about the You First project update. So we're just going to move right along and let Michael come up and let us know what's going on.
Thanks. So hello to the world of people at their desks. Hello to everyone in the room. I'm Michael Latsko. I work in University Human Resources. And for the last 10 months, I have been part of the You First project, specifically working on the technology part of the project. I came to the circle meeting, the first one you had, or we had, and was very vague in what was going on in the world of technology. So I'm very pleased to be able today to come and tell you some very concrete and specific things about the You First project, especially as it relates to technology. But before we get there, we have announced, and you may have seen the notice go out, a project director for the next phase of the project. We're in the implementation phase of the HR transformation, which includes technology. And Sean Jackson has accepted the role of executive director of the project and starts officially on August the 8th. He has, however, been engaged with us so far. He's come to some of our site visits. We went to the University of Miami and to Georgetown, and Sean was with us there. Sean transitions out of roles, dual roles. He's been the chief information officer at both the School of Medicine and the University Physicians Group. So he comes with a great knowledge of the health system side of the business, which is great. He also has lots of background in complex project management, and I believe he's going to find new challenges in this very complex and complicated, yet exciting and exhilarating project. So we're glad to have Sean coming on board. The other announcement we have is, of course, I hope you've seen, on July the 13th, we signed the contract to select Workday as our HR solution. And so that was the culmination of some exciting negotiations and discussions that involved two of the finalists. We had SAP SuccessFactors as our other finalist, and along with Workday. And so we were negotiating up until the very last minute with both of them, just as a safe contingency. And in the end, we made the selection of Workday, based largely on the user experience and their commitment to higher education. And so we have signed a 5-year contract with them with the option to extend for another 5 years. So that's for base HCM, which is Human Capital Management software. We also included a separate contract for the learning management system, which is in development. Workday does not have today a learning management system. However, they plan to, within the next several releases, by the time we go live, have a very robust solution. And so because of that fact, that there is some associated risk there, we negotiated a separate contract such that we'll be able to monitor the releases as they come out and make a decision 2 years in whether we want to continue with Workday as the solution there. It might be that they're not developing it fast enough, or we don't see that they're meeting the needs that we have, especially on the medical center health system side. And so we have some options there to protect us in that regard. The other part of the contract that's rather novel and exciting, I think, is the fact that we built in the ability within the next 2 years to agree to implement their financials as well at the same base price that we are paying for HCM. So we've got a commitment that if we, in the next 24 months, want to move ahead with more exciting projects that don't involve HR people necessarily, we can do that. We know what the price will be. The 5-year price that we are paying for HCM is fixed over the course of 5 years, and then there's a 3% escalator in the next 5 years. So we're not tied to any indexes of inflation or anything. It's a very predictable contract in terms of what we're paying. We were able to negotiate a 54% discount to the list price, so it's a very good deal for the university over the course of these many years. So we're very excited about that. So the project is entering its new phase, the implementation phase. And so there will be some announcements going out about opportunities for people to be involved in what the new project looks like. There will be obviously a big piece of that will be technology, but there's also continuing work in process. There's continuing work in talent readiness. There's continuing work in many of the subject matter areas in talent management, talent acquisition, employee relations. There's a function called business services. We've got payroll, and as I mentioned, technology, change management, and communication. So you're going to probably see some announcements in the next couple of weeks, maybe next couple of days, about opportunities that will be posted for people to consider joining the project for the implementation phase. The go-live date is scheduled for the technology piece, is scheduled to go live July the 1st, 2018. So about 2 years on the technology implementation. Obviously, as much of the HR transformation will follow a similar timeline, but there may be things that happen before the technology goes live as well. As you also probably heard, there is a new chief HR officer that's been hired across the enterprise to be in charge of the health system HR as well as the academic side HR. And Kelly Stuck will start right after Labor Day. She's already been in Charlottesville for a couple of visits, and she'll be here, I think, next week as well. So she's starting to hit the ground running as well. So I think that's all I've got to update. Let me just make sure I wasn't supposed to say anything else, right? Okay. Any questions that I can answer? If anybody, especially people sitting at home who can't ask questions, if you have any questions. But if there are any questions here in the room, I'm happy to try to answer those. Okay, thanks very much.
How about that? Got it. All right, sounds good. And now I want to go to, is that going to take me to full screen? All right. So our technology is ready. We're ready to roll. We're going to do a Total Rewards team update. I thought first I could just start with an introduction because I don't think I've been in front of this group saying kind of who we are and what we do. And then we'll move into actually flipping up this order of things, but I'm going to give you the retirement plan change update, an update on educational benefits, which I saw on the agenda, and then Erin Erickson will do an update on Who's Well, and then finally we'll look at the Oracle Advanced Benefits timeline, and Joe Esposito will be back for another run on that. All right, Total Rewards, I like to just kind of go to the, I don't know, maybe more academic. So this is World at Works, which is formerly the Compensation Association, but their definition of total rewards. So everything the employee perceives to be of value resulting from that employment relationship. And I wanted to just kind of distinguish our team, Total Rewards team, manages programmatically compensation, benefits, work-life effectiveness, and recognition. There's some other components there of total rewards, performance management, and talent development that are managed by other parts of UHR. And then if you are an HR business partner out in the schools and units, you're doing some of all of that. But our HRCS group has the lead on performance management, and our Center for Leadership Excellence has the lead on talent development. So that's kind of our bucket of total rewards, what we bring of value to the employee proposition. And then we administer a lot of that, the total rewards team does. We work hand in hand with the service team because they're actually kind of boots on the ground with a lot of those different HR processes. Just real quickly, this is our mission and values for Total Rewards. I guess I could hit a couple of our values. Innovative and affordable programs, caring and respecting our customers, and engaging the community with passion. And I challenge you to challenge us. If you don't feel like you're getting service that demonstrates care, that demonstrates respect for you, and your employees, your managers, your stakeholders, get with me, get with people on our team, and let us know how we're not living up to that value set. Total Rewards team versus the service team, just thought I'd do a quick overview of this. Again, service team, very much boots on the ground, program execution. They are the ones taking the calls. They are the ones doing the transactions, but in our future world with advanced benefits, a lot of that will be done through the system, and then even more so once we move to Workday. So on the total rewards side, we are really doing program design, program management, measuring the effectiveness of our programs, doing program improvement, quality assurance, and vendor management, as well as our compliance strategy. We are an issue escalation point, so sometimes with ed benefits, for example, somebody may not like the answer that they get with the ed benefits process. Joe Esposito is kind of the escalation point for that. With the ombudsman, Ann Broccoli is on our team, so she transitioned from the director of benefits role to the ombudsman role, and if people are having problems with their health benefits, they try Aetna, they try the service team, they would then go to Ann. So we do have these places where people can continue to get help that they need. All right, so if I pause there for a moment, any just general questions about total rewards, the service team, how we work together? I did have on the previous slide, I'll go back there, just that there is that kind of a process flow. So particularly now that we have Salesforce, have y'all heard about that we have Salesforce? So we have Salesforce that the service team is now using to log all employee calls, all employee emails, everything that hits the service team. So we have a much better picture now of what types of calls are coming in, what problems are being addressed. And so we can use that data with the Total Rewards team to actually do more of a root cause analysis, look at what's going on, and make some fixes so that maybe we can reduce those calls. You don't need a call if you fix the actual problem at its root. So that's why I tend to show that we've got strong interaction between the Total Rewards team and the service team. Also, as we roll programs out, we're educating the service team so that they can respond effectively when they get questions about those program areas. So, questions about Total Rewards, service team? All right, keep going then. So 2 updates, the retirement plan changes. So starting, you'll get communication starting this fall on a few changes to the retirement plan. And it does impact the optional retirement plan folks, but it impacts people that had the 403B, the cash match program. Do most of you in the room have the 403B? So this would impact, it's going to impact kind of more employees than we think about when we think, oh, it's just the ORP. Well, it really is anybody that's in that 403B cash match. And what we're doing is really streamlining the investment fund lineup. Right now, in the 403B, I think there are over 200 choices. Well, our good behavioral economics faculty here at UVA would tell you that when you have too many choices, you're basically immobilized, or many people are, and they make no choice at all, and so they go into the default. So we're gonna try to make it easier for people to make good choices about those retirement plan options. Initial communications are gonna go out later this month. That would be a mailer to homes. We'll have a website that will be focusing on the retirement plan changes. And then the remainder of the timeline in November, there'll be some more information that goes out. This is not connected to open enrollment. So it kind of seems like it is because you're getting communications at about that time, but really the timeline extends way beyond open enrollment because we want to give people time to get educated and time to make good decisions about the information. So in November, there'll be information about how the fund lineup is going to change and what will happen if you don't do anything at all. And our TIA and Fidelity reps will be partnering with us to do presentations on grounds and then be much more available or available to the same extent they are today to do one-on-one sessions with people to really talk through, okay, what should I do? What actions should I take? So we're going to try to have as much resource available for people as possible. All right, questions about changes to the retirement plan? Yes. Yeah, so Vanguard will be back in the lineup with some target date funds and, oh, sorry. So the question is, will some funds be going away and will the Vanguard funds be in the lineup? Vanguard funds, target date funds are in the lineup and we are using a brokerage window, which even if a fund is not in our lineup anymore, you'd be able to access it through what's called the brokerage window. There might be one fund or something like that that won't be available through that window, but otherwise you actually would have access to more funds than you have today through that brokerage window. Anybody else have questions about changes to the retirement fund lineup? Dave King is on vacation today, or otherwise he would be the one speaking with you about this. And so he's really our point person on this. And again, if you're looking at, as you start seeing this roll out, and if you want specific briefing sessions for your school or unit, that can totally be arranged. So Dave would be your point person on making arrangements for those. And Catherine, I'm kind of seeing you here, head of our executive recruiting group. Again, if you want more information kind of as you're working with new hires, we certainly have that available and can get that to you. The last thing I don't have a slide on, but it is the that we are looking at some program changes to the educational benefit program. Part of this is a compliance reason. We've looked more carefully at the regs that are guiding this, and we've seen that we need to do some tightening up. As an example, you're not supposed to pay anything that is related to sports or leisure activities, and we had been doing some approvals on things of that nature. So we will be tightening up on the compliance, but we're going to be at the same time coming out to different groups, faculty senate, staff senate, the S3 group, and again, we could have the same kind of dialogue with this group next month if we want to. But really trying to figure out what direction should that program go. So getting a lot of inputs from folks across grounds and then consolidating that input and then bringing it to leadership. And I kind of see that we could go a couple different ways with this. One would be to keep it the same, but with the tighter compliance. Another would be to have it be more job related, which might free up some dollars then to be able to better fund a higher benefit for people that are truly degree seeking. If you're truly degree seeking, the $2,000 doesn't go as far as one might hope. So we could potentially pop that up to the maximum of the tax exempt benefit, which would be $5,250. Or so those are two options, and it's kind of like, is it really all for the employee, or do we want to see an employer-employee benefit? So those are kind of the questions that we'll be polling different groups about and getting input on, and then taking all that feedback as well as a recommendation to senior leadership for them to approve. We're going to be collecting that feedback over the fall, and then hope to have a decision and kind of a refresh to the program January 1st. All right. So I think now I'm ready to turn this over to Erin Erickson, our wellness coordinator.
Morning, everybody. How are you guys doing? Doing well? Good. Well, I wanted to thank you for having me this morning. I'm here to talk about the fun stuff, which is who's well. At least I hope it's fun for you all. And the most important thing I wanted to address is why wellness at UVA? Why do we do these wellness programs that we offer to our employees and, in many cases, their spouses? So I know it's a little bit difficult to see this here on the screen, but in a preliminary analysis of claims data that we had USPM, so U.S. Preventative Medicine, analyze of our Aetna claims, we were able to identify the top 10 chronic conditions that affect our UVA employees. And you can kind of see a pattern here with a lot of those conditions and how it relates to the image here on the right, or the left, of our HRA data, so our health risk assessment that we had done in 2015. So this is your self-reported risk assessment that you filled out last year, and you can see that there's a lot of commonality and similarity in the types of conditions and also the areas that were indicated that folks were most interested or willing and ready to change. I did want to ask you all as a group, do you see any commonalities in these chronic conditions? Anything that they have in common, or? They're all stress related? That's a great point. That's a good observation. Okay, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So stress, I'm sorry? Oh, I'm so sorry. So I'm repeating the comments. So we heard a lot were stress related, and then also diet and exercise. So all of these components are lifestyle changes, right? So things that you can kind of manage in your day-to-day life. So by offering wellness programs to encourage physical activity, regular screenings and visiting with your physician, and then getting your exercise and better nutrition in, we can see some really great savings with our claims data and the cost that is impacted on the UVA health plan. So increased participation in wellness and care management programs helps decrease the cost. And also, it's the right thing to do. We want to make our employees happy, healthy, and able to be more productive and enjoy their life. So in an effort to do that, we have instituted the programs that you see in place. So our Fall Fitness Challenge, which I'm going to talk about in just a second here. And there's a really great quote, to Daryl's point earlier, the quote master, from Malcolm X, and it's, if you can replace I with we, even illness becomes wellness. And I think that's a responsibility that we have here at the University of Virginia, and we want to make all of our employees well. So in order to do this, we try to incentivize and make it fun to get healthy and to stay healthy. And to get active. So we have 3 steps that allow you and your spouse this year to earn $500 each. So this is something new that we are offering. We didn't do this in last year's Fall Fitness Challenge, but spouses covered on the UVA health plan are also able to participate in the challenge, complete the 3 steps, and earn up to $500 reward. So step one is worth $200, and that is getting your biometric screening. All of these steps are due by October 28th. So we kickstarted the challenge on August 1st, and you have until October 28th to complete these 3 steps to earn your reward. However, we are conducting biometric screenings here on grounds to help make it easy for you to know your numbers, see a health coach, and get your health information. So those appointments are available from August 1st to October 7th. So that's just an important date to remember. And we do really want to encourage everybody to try to get in as early as possible. We've conducted the first week of screenings at the Med Center at Jordan Hall. And then next week, the week of the 15th, I believe, we're actually starting the U-Hall screening. So for the UHR side of the house and folks that are here on the academic side, those might be a little bit more convenient for you. So I do encourage you to check out the tool and see if you can schedule an appointment for your convenience here at work during a break. And then also a nice feature is we do accept a physician screening form. So if you've recently seen your doctor or your nurse practitioner and you have your lab results from 1 year prior, you can actually submit that and use that toward this step of the challenge to earn your reward. And our physician screening form is online. It's something that you're actually able to take that information and fill out yourself, so you don't have to rely on your NP or your doc to get that over to us. So you can really take ownership of that and get it in and check it off your list and be on your way to earning the $200 for that step. The next step is what we did last fall for those of you that were here. It's the online health assessment. So I referenced earlier on my first slide the self-reported chronic conditions and areas that people were ready and motivated to change. That was from the online health assessment. So it's as simple as going to My Active Health and clicking Earn My Rewards, and then you can go ahead and fill out that self-assessment to get your $100 for that step. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes, and you can use the numbers that you have from your biometric screening to pinpoint cholesterol levels, blood pressure, etc. And then finally, for step 3, which is worth $200, is the Fall Fitness Challenge. So again, we did this last fall, and we just did this also in the spring. So every year, Who's Well does a spring challenge and a fall challenge. We have not increased the amount of workouts that you need to do to earn your reward, but we have increased the step count. It's remaining at 30 minutes of physical activity. So if you're a runner, if you're going to the gym, or you have a regular routine where maybe you're on a softball team or a league of some sort, and you know you're going to get your 30 minutes in, please record that information, get credit toward the challenge. But if you're using a wearable device like a Fitbit, we are just increasing the steps to 6,000 versus 5,000. So that's a good thing to note, and just please be aware of that as you're logging activity. And then finally, if you have a medical condition that makes you unable to do the fitness challenge, whatever that may be, we do offer a reasonable alternative available. And what that is scheduling 4 coaching calls with a registered health coach or registered nurse through Active Health. So that really helps with our care management component and allows you to still be rewarded for talking about lifestyle changes that you can make. And it's completely customized and tailored to you and what you'd like to discuss with your coach. And it's completely confidential. So again, just reiterating, the deadline to complete all 3 steps is October 28th. So get a jump start. It's always nice to get it done early, especially with those biometric screenings, as I'm hearing they're filling very quickly. So I do encourage you to register for those. And then one other exciting thing that we are offering this year for this challenge, but really next year, is a one-time payout. So instead of getting your rewards each month of your paycheck, you're actually going to get a one lump sum. If you complete all 3 steps, you would get $500 in your paycheck for February of 2017. And then finally, I have to give a quick shout out. We want to make it as easy as possible to complete the fitness challenge. So we do offer a lot of great resources here on grounds to help you do that. And we work with a wonderful vendor, I Am Rec Sports, and we have 4 facilities here on grounds in which you can participate in any of our free pop-up fitness classes. I like to call them drop-in fitness because I think it's a regular class and you can just drop in. You don't have to sign up. You don't have to register. It's completely free, and you just kind of swipe into the gym, even if you don't belong to the gym, if you're on the health plan, and you can drop in and take advantage of any of these classes. And this list of classes are actually what we're offering for the fall of this year. So right now, if you look on our calendar, you might see a little bit of a different variety of classes. We're kind of in a like an in-between period. So these will be available in the next couple of weeks. And we also, to help, I have to do a quick shout out for Dave because he's not here, our financial fitness fellow. We are doing pop-up financial fitness classes where you can actually have somebody come in and speak with your group about kind of managing your money, retirement plan options, and how to budget. So with this one lump sum payout, some people are loving that. Some people are saying they'd rather have it each month. So these pop-up financial fitness classes can really help to help you budget. So, any questions? Anything I covered too quickly? Yeah.
The biometric screening, that's for spouses as well, or just for?
Great question. So the question was, are biometric screenings for spouses as well as employees? They're for both. As long as you're covered on the UVA health plan, you can participate in any of those 3 steps. And in order to help you do that, we want to allow spouses, of course, to do the biometric screenings. Yeah. I'm so glad you asked this question. So Reese asked, if you have a spouse that's participating in the challenge, does your spouse go into your My Active Health portal to track their steps? The answer is no. Actually, you go in and you create your own account. So you want to make sure that both you and your spouse have your individual account, and it's the same way that you did your setup when you first logged in to create that account. So we have files that link your spouse with you, and we'll know that it's your spouse and that the payout will go to your paycheck. So that's very important to keep 2 separate kind of records of your activity. Great question. Anybody else? Okay, great. Thank you so much. And I'm going to hand it over to Joe. Yeah? The man with the mic.
Okay, I'm back. So Joanne couldn't be here today to discuss this because we are in, as I mentioned earlier in the presentation before, that we are in the OAB transition period and we're coming down to the wire. And so the IT team under Diane Mundell's group and Joanne got a lot of passion about trying to make sure this data is correct. They're taking a lot of care to ensure that the files work and that the transition from one platform to the next platform is seamless. And so they are working very hard on that, and that's the reason she can't be here. But I wanted to give you an update. So Friday, August 12th through the 15th, we'll be bringing down the benefit self-service, which is Benefits at today. We'll be bringing that down. It'll be a blackout period. And so what they'll be doing is taking all the information that they're working on today in Benefits at, making sure it's in payroll in timely manner, and then taking that information and actually re-entering it into the new platform to ensure that all those records are in the new platform at the same time. The week of August 15th through the 19th, we'll be opening a soft launch on the OAB platform for newly hired faculty and staff. And we're also launching a new tool called Ask Alex, which will help people work through the different benefit that they have to offer, and using this tool to help new hires moving forward in making decisions. And it'll list not just medical, but it'll list disability, it'll have retirement in it, and it'll give them a whole menu and an opportunity to learn more about their benefits and help them kind of create a template of what they would like to have before they actually go into the new benefit platform. The total rewards team will be at the faculty in sessions of orientation, and then they'll be at the GFS orientations to ensure that we help them through the new platform. There'll be guides that will be using at that point in time, user guides. And we're going to take all that feedback based on these new hires, the orientation, the GFS, and then we're going to finalize the guides. And then the week of August 22nd, we are going to post a recorded video regarding how to access the new Oracle platform, how it works, explain how the user guide will be recorded, and so it'll be audio as well as a printout that they could do as well. So it's coming in stages. We're just trying to ensure that whatever we put out there as a finalized working document is actually been used by people, which is the new hires. Okay? September through early October, early system user testing. So we're constantly ensuring, taking the feedback from the new hires and from the orientation, going back into the system, and we're working with the usability group, and we're ensuring we take the feedback from them and try to keep tweaking the system to make sure that that system is as user-friendly as could be until we get to Workday. And at that point in time, then we'll be able to use this system for open enrollment as well, and then hopefully have a finalized version of it going forward for new hires and for life events, okay? October 10th through the 28th will be open enrollment, and we'll be working through that period of time. So as soon as we get this up and running for the new hires, we'll be immediately rolling into the open enrollment programming and ensuring that that information is ready to go by October 10th. So what will it look like? How will I access it? So the new system will be accessed on this portal. It'll be part of self-service, but we're going to keep the benefits tab up there so people can find it very easily. But if you clicked on self-service, in the drop-down, benefits will be there. And you can access it either way. But for the time being, we're going to have a separate tab just to identify benefits so people can find it quickly and move forward. We will keep you up to date with news and information right here in the newsworthy section. We'll constantly let you know where we are with information, so that calendar on the previous slide that we had, some form of that calendar will be in the newsworthy section, probably by the end of the week, and letting people know exactly what's happening all along the way as we move forward into the platform changes. Some of the important takeaways that we need to make sure that we get across, and again, more of this information will come out in the newsworthy section and some emails. One of the first things that we want to talk about is benefits eligibility. If you're expecting somebody to have benefits on the first of the month, you need to hire them on the first of the month, okay? It's not based on the payroll cycle. It's based on the date that you actually hire them. So it's one of the things we want to make sure of. That's a change. And so otherwise, it'll be first of the month following that date of hire if it's not on the first of the month. Hours reduction. This is an important functionality that we have to work through. So a lot of times we will, somebody might be in a position, but we reduce their hours and we reduce their salary. And what we're asking that you do is keep their salary, keep their hours the same if they're full-time, and just reduce their salary in the system. And again, Joanne will be putting more information out there, because if you go under 20 hours, you will not be eligible for benefits. Remember that there's a 20-hour rule and there's a 30-hour rule. So the hours has to change, cannot change if you expect them to keep their benefits eligibility in play. But if you're expecting to pay something differently based on hours, you're going to have to change the salary piece. And again, Joanne will put some more information out there for everybody to explain how we work that, but that is an important change that we have coming. Employees on leave, primary assignments. So the salaried position must be the primary assignment. If by some reason you make the wage position the primary, even by accident, it's going to cause a problem with benefits eligibility, because it's all rule-based. Remember, we were talking about that on the rehire. So the status drives benefits, and this is where it comes into play again. So if you got to ensure that the right primary assignment is correct, Otherwise, it will change the benefits eligibility for somebody. Integrated system passwords. There are a few folks, quite a few folks, who have never been in that system that we just showed with the tab of benefits. And at this point in time, we identified those employees. We're going to be sending them out communications. We'll use email, we'll use mail. We're going to ask them ahead of time of open enrollment to get in there, create their passwords, be ready to go. Because that's an important factor, because otherwise it'll slow them down in their open enrollment, and we don't want to do that. So we're going to be sending out, contacting these folks, but just so you know that's what that email's for. These are for people that haven't been in the system for a long time or never, and we want them in the system, be ready to go for open enrollment, so we're going to get ahead of that curve. Mid-year life events. In the benefit self-service, existing employees will need to contact the HR service team. And the reason for this, we're not making this live yet because as we go forward, we want to ensure that the system is working the way we want it to work. So anybody that has a midlife event as a current employee, we're asking them to call the service team. I'm going to work through that manually for right now, ensuring that the rules work based on our business and how we work them, and ensure that those things all come to play. So we'll probably do that through the fall, and then in January, we'll make it, our goal is to make it live and make it self-service. But for right now, there's a lot of things that are happening, and there's a lot of information we want to make sure our employees are aware of, and so we're going to manually do those through the fall until the first of the year. So the new user experience is what it's all about. And I know it's not going to look as good as Workday, but it is a step towards that. It is in one payroll system. It is one place with all the data. This will also help us in transitioning to Workday, because now we've flushed out all the rules, we found all the sins, and we're able to get those corrected so that way when we do move to Workday, it should be an easier transition for us. But it is important that we understand that the other part of this is analytics. We have to understand how our people use the system, when they use the system, why they're using the system, what troubles they have using the system. And so we'll be able to, again, between Salesforce, the Ask Alex tool that we talked about in introducing benefits, and the GuideSpark videos, we'll have analytics that will be able to help us monitor, improve, and then deliver better products, better services going forward as we keep developing our total reward strategy and platforms, okay? Last is the customer experience surveys. Again, that's the reason we want the feedback from the new hires. We want to know what they think of the system. We want to know how we can make it better. We want the user guides to work. And that's the reason we're not going to necessarily roll them out in a recorded message. We want feedback. That's the reason we're going to do the usability studies. We want to make sure that we can provide the best product for our people until we move to the Workday product. But it all takes time, and it all takes collaboration, and we want to make sure we're moving in a good way. Okay? Any questions? Okay. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you to Michael and Allison and Aaron and Joe. We're going to move right into the next part of our program. Our partners from Student Career Services, Everett Fortner. You're going to talk to us a little bit about Handshake.
All right, hi, I'm Everett Fortner, and this is my colleague.
Lisa Downing.
All right. I just want to say as a, everyday employee out there, listening to the first 45 minutes of what you guys have been saying, I want to just say thank you. You guys do amazing stuff behind the scenes that none of us ever see, so thank you. It was just mind-blowing. Every employee should actually be able to see some of the things you guys are doing that are invisible to us, yet we take them for granted. So anyway, thank you. We want to talk about a quick new tool that we're doing. So many technology changes are coming. We want to talk about one, put it in context really quickly. Thank you. You've heard the term total advising, and total advising is one of the cornerstone plan initiatives. Total advising is personal, career, and academic advising, trying to make those for students more seamless. They're three separate things, yet students see them as one and have given us a lot of feedback on that. We represent just the career component of that, but we're actually trying to say that we're not that much separate anymore. We're doing 6 big initiatives that we've been doing for the last couple of years. You may have heard these terms. I'm not going to go into each of them, but as you hear them, we've launched 6 career communities that take the world of work and divide it into 6 broad areas for students, and helps us go from generalized advising to more specific advising for students. One of the things that we discovered when I joined Career Services a couple of years ago was that probably fewer than 30% of students ever encountered the Career Center. So student engagement has been low. And over the last couple of years, we have been doing a lot of things with technology. And one huge thing for us is we are located in Bryant Stadium, which is sort of out of the way, Bryant Hall and Scott Stadium, which is sort of out of the way for students. We've opened a satellite office in Newcomb, which has really increased our availability to students. We now have an internship center, which turns the focus to internships for students, and that's going to lead to our discussion in a minute of student employment. But when we say internships here, we're primarily referring to what they do during the summer, how they use their summers. We are trying to bring employer relations together across the university. It's done by different schools and different departments, and as we go to employers, they get a bit confused. So we're trying to go at them a little bit more with one UVA face and offer them students in every school. And then last is our partnerships. We've not engaged alumni and parents and employers and faculty in the process of career development. And we want to create a career culture around grounds where everyone is helping support students in what they want to do next. So those are our 6 broad areas that we're focusing on. I think it's only 5. Those are the 5 broad areas that we're focusing on. And student employment fits, as I said, into internships. And we have gotten much more actively involved in student employment in the last couple of years because we see that as a central way to help students develop both professional skills and things on their resume that they can talk to employers about. No matter what kind of employment you have on grounds, it can be strategic. It can be something you talk about in interviews, and it can be a differentiator. So we are encouraging student employment as much as we can. And I mean, you see the benefits for students, and then they can in turn turn that around for employers. So I'll just cover a couple of these. We're trying to create a few best practices around grounds and make it easier for departments to hire students. We have coordinated timing for student hiring in the spring and the fall. We are advertising and promoting to students through this new tool called Handshake. And Handshake has expanded reporting capability that Lisa's going to talk about in just a minute. So just a commercial, we are doing our fall student employment work resource fair on August 25th from 2 to 5. Lisa, how many people are registered? How many, these are UVA departments, any guess?
Yeah, I believe we're at 25 currently of the different entities around grounds. So if you're looking to hire who?
So we'll see that dramatically increase, I think, between now and the 15th. So what we've done, you all have remembered CavLink. So this Handshake is now replacing CavLink. Just a more modern supplier. I'll turn it to Lisa, but the big things that Handshake are to us and to students, it's more personalized and individualized. It uses technology similar to both Facebook and Netflix. So it has a wall down the middle that students are constantly reading, we hope. And that wall is personalized by whatever they like, whatever they're interested in. So if they like a certain industry or a certain company or a certain type of event, those things will be served up to them more often. So it provides a much nicer user interface, provides us even more access to employers, and we're going to be using it for student employment as well. So, Lisa.
Thank you. So yes, we are shaking things up on grounds with Handshake. Say goodbye to CavLink and Simplicity, the lovely archaic version of hiring students off grounds. And we are going into this lovely new platform where students, career centers, recruiters, as well as employers on grounds can really meet and have that really interactive experience with the students. just to share a little bit of fun facts, we do primarily use this platform as an external hiring tool. So we are working with Fortune 500s. Handshake is a new platform that's been maybe 3 years old. I call it the crazy toddler that's like learning everything, soaking everything in like a little sponge. So be patient as it does grow and expand. But with that being said, we are in the beta phase, and they've picked up over, 90 new universities in the past 4 months that we've been working with them. So they started around with 60. They've got a few contracts pending, but really is going to be a fantastic new and innovative tool for us to use with that. It is very mobile app friendly. Students and staff can have access to Handshake from any device. So if you have a Facebook feed, you now have a Handshake feed. So it's kind of fun and very personal aspect that you can create your own profile. So just to share some of the features that Handshake will have and that you all will also have an opportunity to utilize if you are hiring any students on grounds is that it does have some wonderful event management functions, the career fair planning. So of course, any registrations for the career fair or even to have a registration to take part and to have a booth, if you will. So both sides of that element. Meeting room booking as well as job postings. I facilitate all of the on-ground interviews on grounds with all these different companies and industries, and so it can also utilize kind of like a booking agent, if you will. Appointments, of course, for any of our career counselors, contact management, which is really great as well to kind of track all the elements, and really the outcome tracking is, I think, one of the main reasons that we decided to go over into this platform. It has such advanced reporting mechanisms. It really has that easy-to-use design, which I think everybody is familiar. My joke has been LinkedIn and Facebook had a lovely evening together and Handshake came out. So, I mean, it really is a fantastic platform that we are all kind of familiar with and very intuitive because we all use these social media platforms. Just to give you guys a heads up on how we're going to be utilizing this account really is that I believe a lot of you all are familiar with Simplicity and or CavLink, and I believe each department had their own, like one representative that could actually go in and post jobs for students. Everybody here is going to have their chance to create their own profile within this lovely platform. So the company account is going to be the University of Virginia, which is really wonderful. Inside, there's going to be divisions, which are your departments, your offices, your units, your programs, your platforms, whatever it is that you will call yourself. You will be able to link in through there. And then they will have staff management aspects where you can all go and look at your applications of students and make any edits or changes, and it really is a user-friendly area. Any contacts, if you have any work studies that are, facilitated with grounds, but not necessarily a UVA domain, you can always have them added in, so that way they can also access the platform as well through our account. So
the big beauty of the company account is the reporting. So we wouldn't have been able to tell you last year how many UVA students were employed using our CavLink system, or even what was the average salary or any of those things, because it was so fragmented. Now doing a company account like this, you'll be able to track your own, but we'll be able to look at it at the account level and give more data on what's happening across ground.
Yes, very good point. And that actually brings up the divisions. There's the taxonomy and naming convention that we've created. I will provide all these handouts to Ms. Ellen so you all can have those. But if you have any questions about that, just to keep everything consistent to create those reports and make them user-friendly. So if you all do need a Handshake account, there's lovely tutorials online, but we also do have some great base support over at the Career Center to help you all, some PDFs, the tutorials, the how-tos, and then here's just some of the video tutorials that will have hyperlink that we can send over to you all. So is there any questions that you all may have regarding this platform or the changes or anything of the sort? No? Well, this just sounds like a great end to our little presentation.
So we'll leave these handouts for you, and Ellen will have this presentation where you'll have the links if you want them. Thank you.
Wonderful. We're running a little bit behind, so we're going to take.
I made up time for you guys.
Yes, you did. But thank you so much to Lisa and Everett. We're going to hand this over to Lisa Schuler, because I know all of us are very anxious to get started with our work study hires. So Handshake and work study kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I have 4 minutes to wrap this up. So I'm going to give you a quick teaser about what's happening next week. So Friday the 12th, there will be a work study training presentation that we will be doing in the Kaleidoscope room. So I would invite all of you who participate and hire work study students. Can I get a show of hands of how many are hiring? Good, awesome. So the university gets about $1.6 million from the feds for federal work study. So this is an important program. You just heard a little bit about the benefits to our students, as well as a big benefit for the department is you get some young folks coming in to help you out. It's a wonderful experience to have our students who are coming here to get educated in your divisions, in your departments. So I just want to focus on a couple of things. The new work study voucher is out there. So if you go to the Student Financial Services website and you just search for 2016 work study voucher, it's opened. The employer handbook and voucher will be on the UVA forms directory by the end of the week. How many of you have taken the online training? Awesome. If you haven't, I would encourage you to go to your learner home and take that online training opportunity. So let's get down a little bit into the details. This year, there is a new work study award, which is SR 00240. You'll see that on your handout. So someone was asking me, well, what does that mean? So the opportunity for the departments in hiring a work study student means that 70% of the work study student's salary is paid by the Department of Ed work study. And so the department only has to pick up 30% of that wage. So it's a big benefit to the departments to hire work study students. So whenever you are first starting your work study position and hiring, we do require the voucher that it is completed and has the supervisor, as well as the job description, and that gets faxed over to Student Financial Services. What happens with that information is we link that information directly to the student's profile, so that if we're ever audited by the Department of Ed, we have that information readily available and don't have to come back to you to find it potentially up to 5 years later. Next item, so figuring out who the students are. Does anyone know how to figure that out? Yeah? Okay, there's a report out there. So you have to have a special responsibility right now to get to that particular report in SIS Discover. I've included in the handout the direction, the role that you would need if you don't have it now, and you will need to have that report. The role to fill out your eSharp request is listed. What we're trying to do, we're trying to take an advancement with the managerial reporting team. Have you guys heard about that initiative here at the institution? Yeah, good. I see a lot of heads shaking. So what are we doing there? What we're doing is we're developing an app that we will be opening up potentially the first part of, well, if you come to training, you're going to be able to see it. So that's my plug for coming to training. It's going to make your job a lot easier, because what you're going to be able to do is you'll be able to see a dashboard of who's eligible, how much have they spent, and then the third tab, which is going to be a huge advantage, is to see, do I have a student that has been working as a student worker that really has a work study award, and therefore your department could save 70%. So that's the big plug for that app. So again, I want to close by saying, and I did this really quick, any questions first? All right. I want to really encourage you as your HR person to team up with your finance person and maybe come to training together. This might be a really good opportunity for you to collaborate with that person. You probably don't get to see them, really often. The training will have some handshake information. It'll have some financial aid information. And I hope that you guys will go out and utilize work study and hire our students because they're just amazing people to have in your department. Thank you. And Ellen, I want to thank you for this opportunity. I'm finance. We don't normally get to come to these things, so I appreciate the invitation.
Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you for everything, all of our presenters today. All the handouts will go up on